Hi, I'm Captain Larry Bell with Texas Fishing Tips, and this is your weekly fishing report.
Up here in Mustang Lake, all this area up in here. One thing that you really need to pay attention to these coming next couple of weeks is the tides are really fluctuating up and down. Got big high tides overnight, afternoon time. So if you like the afternoon fish, that'd be a good location or a good time for you to fish is when those tides are up. And then of course morning time, those tides are dropping right back out. So you need to pay attention to those types of things, especially when you get up into these types of areas here that are, some of them are better high tide place, some are better low tide place. This one can go either way depending on if you got a certain amount of bait that's working in there. And that's going to be the key for these next few weeks is you're going to have some bait working in your areas that you're wanting to fish, and you're going to have some grass. If you can find some grass and the bait working in there, you're going to find your fish in these areas. There are scattered redfish that are all up in Mustang Lake here. If you'll work your double D in that crotch to knee deep water, work your plastics, your down south in there as well. Top water bait has done pretty well, but the most effective thing so far has been the double D that's been working in this area here to find your redfish. Up here in Belden Lake, all this area back in here, all the way around to the point, all the way out here to this gut, back around here to the backside, into the Carlos area. You can work all this area here. There's been some black drum that's been hanging out there on that gut, over that shale, all up and down in there. You can catch those black drum on artificial. You can either do it with the small gulp or you can do it with the little johns. The little johns have been the most effective for me, throwing an 1/8 ounce jig head on that thing and working that thing all on and around that shell, and it will take it and go. You can find redfish that are in this area as well that are up and around that shell as well, and working all this grass that's back in here. The grass is starting to show back up. So as you continue to work the shoreline all the way down here into Carlos to the point on the other end, just take your time with it. Look for your bait that's working in there and you'll find your fish. On the top side of Carlos here, on the east side, on this big shell bar that goes all the way around through the cut through there, over by Belden in the reef, there's black drum that are working out here, out there on that reef, all inside of it. There's scattered redfish that are in there as well. Throw your double D. That is the perfect bait for this particular area. All that water in there right now is about knee deep, maybe thigh deep. That's an outstanding bait. If you're going to rig any plastics up, make sure you rig them weedless so you can just bounce off that shell that's all in there. Work the area. There's some bait that's in there. It's scattered all over in the shell area on the outside, on the little spoil islands that separate Mesquite in this area. You can work those areas as well, but most of your fish have been on this side of it. If you want to come on the outside and get on that top side against the shoreline there in the Carlos area up here and start coming back around to the point, to the fingers of Carlos, you'll find some scattered redfish there. You'll find some shell beds that are up there on that shoreline. Work around those. There's been fish have been laying up on that mud and around that shell. So just take your time, work those areas, and you'll find your fish. Long Reef Bend, when you get, again, with your tides, the tides have been low during the morning hours and it starts coming back around noon in the afternoons. So if you can get over here and work the afternoon time, if everything sets up well for you, if you're good enough to fight the wind coming across there on the Aransas Bay system there, get over there on this shoreline when that tide's starting to roll back in the afternoon. Work all those back lake mouth. There's some good redfish that are working in and out of these areas up here. Again, the key thing that I can continue to notice and can continue to keep keying on this is the grass. You need to find patches of grass, some decent grass, even if it's just a small patch. Just continue to work around those areas, because this is where these fish continue to hold, is over that grassy area, or maybe just to the off sides, either side of that grass. Just make that be your structure point. Find some bait working in these areas. These redfish are coming in and out of these mouths of these back lakes. When that tides are rising, they're starting to roll in here. When it's running out, they're going with it. If you find that bait that's working in the mouth, sit there on it, throw your baits up in there. Again, the double D has worked well. Your down south lures in that little bit deeper water have done really well in the supermodel. The soft dine has done pretty good as well. So that little small suspended bait has worked these little deeper guts in here looking for your redfish. And you're still catching trout. Again, catch and release those things. Let them grow this year. We'll get on them next year. But there are trout that are scattered in there as well, and you'll catch a few of those. So just find your bait and continue to look and continue to work these areas, find your fish. Swine Lake shoreline. All this area up and down here. If you fished it, you know the guts that go in and back of the lake and go out to the Copano side. Work those guts. There's some black drum that are scattered in here. There's some redfish that are scattered in here. There's trout that are scattered up and down this shoreline. Again, the key thing is the grass. Find the grass, find some bait working over that grass, and you're going to find some quality fish that are hanging in there. All this little deeper edge, if you can't get to it by wading it or cast to it, then just get in your boat and drift it. Get over the top of that thing and just work it up and down that little bit deeper edge. There's some better fish that are hanging just off the grass area in that 3 to 5 foot of water. And that's anywhere around this area here, all the way out here on this point. Come back around here, this edge out here that's a deeper edge. Work that flat that's right there. Again, the best bait that's been working in this area here has been the double D. It's been money for most of the places in that, again, that thigh deep water, waist deep water or less. Your soft dines have done well. Again, the Marker 54 jerk shrimp, the hard bait, it's been a pretty good bait as well. I haven't fished it quite as much as I fished the other ones because the double D has been working so well. But if you don't have that, and if you got the jerk shrimp, tie it on there because it's been doing pretty good as well. You'll catch some redfish and trout on that thing, especially off this deeper edge out here. Wade that area there, work it, look for your fish, or look for your bait fish in the area, find that grass, and just continue to work it, and you'll find some quality fish.
Thanks for watching. I'm Captain Larry Bell.